You know, a lot of comedians out there try and they just can't hack it. We have a comedian who can. Not only that, I can see by the face that he knows the pun I'm about to make. He does come from comedy royalty, though. Sandy Hackett is with us. He is the son of Buddy Hackett, but a comedian and performer in his own right, and he's right with us now. Sandy Hackett, how you doing?
I'm okay. And that pun, you got to edit that out. That's terrible.
Spoken from one comedian to another. The
Yes,
honesty that comics have. Yeah, thank you
yes.
very much. Yeah. Well, I mean, I couldn't make a joke about you're having sandy hair at this point because, maybe, 10 years ago.
Uh,
But what you been up to? Aside from a very, very long, exhausting couple of plane flights over the past day or two, what about work-wise? What about shows you're doing?
well, I mean, like most comedians, since COVID, things have slowed down considerably for everybody I know in this business. And you just go chasing stuff and doing whatever you can. But my wife, who's also a singer-songwriter and whose father, Ron Miller, was a great songwriter, we've been working on a new show we want to launch called Andropausal Man. So perhaps you've seen a show called Menopause, the
The
musical.
musical, sure.
So women go through menopause, men go through a change in life, and the medical term for it is andropause.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
I wonder if Andrews go through an even more special, like an Andy pause. Yeah, my
well,
jokes are, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry
Dave,
about
I'm
that one
surprised you
too.
got to 1,000 shows with these jokes.
Thank you. So, but you also mentioned off camera there were a couple of other shows that you recurringly
Well,
do.
yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing when you do a show like yours and you do so well that you have me back, a decade more than a decade later. I go, I got to ramp it up. I've got a show about the Rat Pack that we've been touring for years, Sandy Hackett's Rat Pack show. We've worked all over the country. I have a show about my dad called My Buddy. It's a show with me telling stories about touring with my father, and it's a father-son story, really. It's really not a Buddy Hackett biography. It's just a father-son story, and it's a lot of fun to do. And I still do stand-up. I'm actually in Spokane, Washington tonight doing a show for bankers, and I've been looking for banker material, and there is none. There is no humor with bankers.
Well, I
They
guess
just
you've been shortchanged.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But I will tell you because years ago we did Rat Pack in Yakima, Washington, and a little small town. And we get off the plane and we're going into town. And I see this big billboard by the airport that says Yakima, the Palm Springs of Washington. And I'm going, oh my goodness. So I went on stage that night and I said, wow, I saw your billboard out there at the airport. And I said, it's just so surprising to me because we were just in Palm Springs and there's a big billboard outside the Palm Springs airport that says Palm Springs, the Yakima of California.
Well, dude, I used to live in Greeley, Colorado, which is the Secaucus of Colorado, and I was very, very, very proud of that. But before we let you go, Sandy Hackett, since we did bring up your dad and your show about your dad, can you share a quick anecdote from the show, or maybe not from the show, about you and your pa?
Yes. And I got into this conversation the other day with somebody because somebody was asking me about, people want to go out there and they want to say, oh, it's nepotism. You worked with your dad hired. And I go, parents do that. Parents want the best for their kids.
Yeah.
So I remember I was going out, I toured with my dad for a decade as his opening act. And in those days before iPhones and stuff like that, I was also the navigator. I had the map book, if you remember the giant map books, and we're going to find places, we're going to work, we're driving all over the Eastern
The
Seaboard.
Atlas,
Yeah,
the
right. The
yeah,
Atlas, the road atlas.
the Atlas, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I said to my dad one night, I was on stage, and he used to walk out of me when I was out there. And he always walked out on entertainers when they were working with him. And so he walked out of me, and I said, Dad, I said, I want to tell you thank you. And he said, for what? I said, for booking me with you. He says, "What are you talking about? You're my. Oh, of course, I'm happy to have you here. It's my pleasure." And I said, he said, "Why are you thanking me?" I said, "Well, I telling a lot of my friends I was going on the road. What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm going to work with my dad." You're opening for your dad, Buddy Hackett?" "Yeah." And I said, and they all said, "Wow, boy, that would be so neat to open for Buddy Hackett. I would love to do that. I mean, what a feather in my cap that would be." And I told him that, and he said, "Fuck them, let them find their own famous father."
But if I look even more shocked than smiley, is because your voice when you do your dad.
Well, when
That's
I
a
do the show, I do both parts. I do my
yeah,
father, and I love doing his voice, and it's so recognizable.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I'm wow.
there's you know, I think many years ago, kind of when I started, there weren't a lot of offspring, but now, I mean, my goodness, there's so many offspring in this business that are wildly successful, and some that are just in the business. You know, I mean, Don Rickles has a daughter, Jackie Mason has a daughter. Uh, um,
And a few that he doesn't even know about. But no, I don't even want to go there. That's just
Michael Douglas, you know, his father, Kirk Douglas. I mean, Michael Douglas, producer, actor, you know,
oh yeah.
huge success. I mean, there are just so many performers, you know, Lorna Luft and Liza Minnelli and stuff like that. Steve March, who was, what, it
Well,
was Steve March was, oh my God, what's the jazz singer's? Mel Torme's son.
oh wow. Oh, okay.
Um,
So,
and,
but yeah, no, I mean, I'm not accusing you of nepotism at all. I mean, you have obvious talent and you're a stand-up
Well,
and
I don't care anymore. When I was
oh,
20 and they go, "You just got the job because of your father." And I said, maybe I did, but you know, it's 50 years later and I've been doing this a while. So, you know, I'm happy to do it. And you know, I'm happy to help my kids and give them an opportunity when I get a chance. And they're shining. So it's good. And to everybody else who was, it's nepotism. I said, you know, if you're a plumber and you work in your dad's business, is that
of course.
nepotism? Or you know, or you're a carpenter or a home builder or whatever, you know, people got to get off that. I mean, parents want to help their kids, especially if you have a great relationship, which I did with my dad and loved him very much. My parents were great, and I was appreciative for the help, and it helped get me launched. But you know, I've been doing this now. I mean, I don't know how I got to be almost 70, 69 years old, and you go, where did the time go?"
Yeah. Hey, enjoy 69. I know I do. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Sandy Hackett. We thank him very, very much for being with us.
Congratulations on 1,000 shows. That's a hell of a landmark.
Yes. And I thank you for being part of it.
A pleasure. And I look forward to coming back in another 27 years.
Well, we'll make it 24 and a half.
Okay. Be good.
Thanks. You too.